Thanks very much for joining me. I want to talk to you about two votes that I am forcing in the Senate today. Votes that could determine whether the United States continues to fund the extremist Netanyahu government's devastation in Gaza, the West Bank, and Lebanon. Some of the most horrific atrocities now taking place anywhere in the world. As all of you know, on October 7th, 2023, Hamas, a terrorist organization, attacked Israel. They killed over 1,200 innocent men, women, and children and took hundreds of hostages. Like any other country, Israel had the absolute right to defend itself and respond to the Hamas attack. But Israel did not have the right to violate international law and wage an all-out war of enormous destruction against the entire Palestinian people in what experts have correctly concluded is a genocide. Out of a population of 2.2 million people, Israel has now killed more than 72,000 Palestinians and wounded more than 170,000, the majority of whom are women, children, and elderly people. 90% of the housing units in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed, and most people are now living in tents. Virtually the entire infrastructure in Gaza, including its water, sewer systems, and electricity, have been destroyed. Every single one of Gaza's 12 universities has been bombed, hundreds of schools have been destroyed, and their entire educational system has been decimated. Most kids in Gaza now are not in school. More than 1,700 healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, paramedics have been killed, and 94% of the hospitals destroyed. In addition, Israel imposed a blockade of food, water, fuel, and medicine so total and so deliberate that it produced mass malnutrition. In fact, hundreds of people in Gaza actually starved to death. But it's not only in Gaza. In the West Bank, in direct violation of international law that protects Palestinian territory, Israeli soldiers and settlers have killed more than 1,000 Palestinians, including over 230 children, since October 2023. During that period, they have demolished more than 6,000 Palestinian homes and established more than 200 new illegal settlements and outposts in Palestinian territory. And this is being carried out not just by extremist settlers. This is Israeli government policy. Netanyahu's security cabinet has approved the most sweeping changes to the West Bank's legal status since 1967, removing nearly all constraints on settlement expansion. Netanyahu himself declared, quote, "There will never be a Palestinian state," end quote. His finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, bragged that new settlement construction would, quote unquote, bury the idea of a Palestinian state. Further, in terms of Iran, we now know that Netanyahu convinced Trump to start an unprovoked and unconstitutional war. This war, in violation of international law, has already resulted in the deaths of thousands of civilians, including hundreds of children in Iran and Lebanon, 26 Israeli civilians, and 13 American soldiers. But for Netanyahu, the war in Iran was not enough. Gaza was not enough. The West Bank, not enough. He is now waging a full-blown war of expansion against Lebanon. This war has not only killed more than 2,000 people there, but has resulted in Israel occupying 14% of Lebanese territory. More than 1 million Lebanese civilians have been displaced from their homes. Just last week, hours after the ceasefire with Iran was announced, Israel launched its largest single attack on Lebanon since the war began, killing more than 300 people in a single day. Israeli Defense Minister Katz has announced that all Lebanese border villages will be demolished following what he calls the model in Gaza. Finance Minister Smotrich has warned that Dayeya, a suburb of South Beirut, will look like Khan's Yunis, a city in Gaza that Israel reduced to rubble. These are not threats. These are promises. And they are being carried out with American weapons paid for by American taxpayers. Let us be clear. Given the horrific and illegal behavior of the Netanyahu government over the last 3 years, the American people have had enough. Support for Israel in this country has plummeted. According to a recent Pew poll, 80% of Democrats now have an unfavorable opinion of Israel, and 41% of Republicans share that view. Recent polling now indicates that 3/4 of Democrats and 2/3 of independents oppose the United States sending arms to Israel. And that is why today I will be forcing the Senate to vote on 2 joint resolutions of disapproval, the only formal mechanism Congress has to block an arms sale. The first would block the sale of over $150 million in 1,000-pound bombs. The second would block $295 million in bulldozers, the machinery used to demolish homes in the West Bank and Gaza and make a Palestinian state physically impossible. In my view, the time is long overdue for the Senate and the House to have the courage to stand up to AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, which spent nearly $127 million in the last election cycle to defeat members of Congress who stood up to Netanyahu and his atrocious policies. Maybe, just maybe, the Senate should start listening to their constituents and not just to the wealthy individuals who fund AIPAC. And that is what today's vote is all about. Let us work together to make sure that it passes, and let us go forward to create the kind of government that we in America need and deserve. Thank you all very much.